Welcome to Doc's Daily Dose for Dads, prescribed by Dr. Harrison. All right, so nice Wednesday afternoon, and today I want to talk about the power of observation to understand who the hell your kid is. So, if you want to know who your kid is, truly is, I mean, you have a certain sense of who your child is. You know them probably better than anyone else. But if you want to know who they are outside of that context, invite their best friend over, right? Watch them behave without you in a social context that matters to them. You know, we all cared about what our friends thought, especially at a young age or middle school or that later elementary. How do they interact? What are their interests? What are their friends' interests? It may be something you didn't know about, or it could be spot on that you thought. Are they an alpha or an omega? Are they a leader or follower? If they're a leader, are they a dick about it? And if they're a follower, are they being stepped on? Where are their strengths and weaknesses? But you know what? The key to this, though, is to observe. Don't jump in. You don't need to jump in and save your kid. I see too many parents who are overly prompting their kids, constantly helping them, constantly guiding them, right? You can take a step back. Your kids are going to need your help throughout their entire life, even when they become adults. You should always be there for them, but you don't have to be a helicopter parent. You don't have to stand over to make sure everything is exactly perfect, that they get the 100%, or that they are, responding exactly the way you want them to behave. No, kick back. Give your kid a chance to fail. Give your kid a chance to learn. Give your kid a chance to see what they like, what they don't like, without having to look over their shoulder to see whether or not mom and dad are okay with it and giving them a thumbs up or thumbs down, or constantly having to ask mom or dad to help or to fix a situation. Let them learn. Let them be kids. Let them learn in their own social environment with kids their age. Now, today, my two oldest kids are on spring break, and the youngest one's in school. His spring break was last week. And the oldest one, he wanted to have his best friend from school come over to come hang out for the day. Now, I know this kid. I like this kid. He's actually a really, really nice kid, well-behaved, knows how to talk to adults. He's a good influence. I don't mind my son being really good friends with him. So I said, you know what? Bring him on by. And this is where this whole idea of really remembering to sit back, and you don't always have to jump in and be a participant. You can simply observe and learn a ton. Really sparked my imagination for today's video. You know what I learned about my oldest son in observing today? He's all about being cool, right? Like it's about saving face and making sure that he feels really cool in front of his friend. He's both a leader and a follower, which I'm totally fine with, because you got to be able to lead, but you also have to know in certain times and situations when you got to follow, right? And he does both of those really well. I saw the taste in music that they had. We play music on the vinyl record player or blast music in my car, and we'll talk about music choices with young children. But I wanted to see what they did. And his friend brought over an iPad, and they plugged it into the Bluetooth speaker, and they blasted some music. And of course, it was the shitty hip hop that is today. And I know you might say, oh, old guy talking shitty hip hop. Well, I grew up, on Outkast, Pac, Nas, Black Star, Talib Kweli, and Mos Def, real lyricists. So this mumble stuff to me, or whatever is out now, like, I'm just not feeling it. But that's what my son and them like. Okay, I see what you guys are into. Let's see. They both were into video games. They both wanted to play outside on the trampoline. My son was more interested in riding bikes, and his friend was more interested in watching YouTube. So I got to see a difference there. Also, my oldest, he likes to show off, especially at the expense of his little brother. So I kind of saw that side of being a dick a little bit. And I was like, okay. So Because you can always go back and correct things later and talk to them about the play date. How'd everything go hanging out with your buddy? How did you guys have fun? Well, what about when this happened, right? But to just constantly give them rules about how they're supposed to behave and always being there to ensure that the rules are being followed before they have an actual opportunity to access the consequences of those rules, you're defeating the purpose of the rules. You're defeating the purpose of what you've taught them. You're defeating the opportunity for them to learn, for them to succeed, for them to fail, for them to excel. Stop holding them back. Now, my middle one, who's 5, he was also here. And I learned something about him too with seeing him interact with his older brother and his older brother's best friend. I learned that he can hold his own. I learned that he likes being around older kids. I also learned that he has this attitude of what's mine is yours when it comes to his brother, including his best friend. So if that's your best friend, that's my best friend too. And I'm going to play doing whatever you guys are doing, which speaks a little bit to his idea of fairness. He thinks whatever his brother gets, he should get too. And that's not how the world works. And we'll talk about fairness on another video, just not today. So again, learn about your kids so you can teach what they need, right? You're going to teach things beforehand, and that's great. It's because what you think they need. But then take a step back and watch them implement things, see how they work in a social environment, so you know the skills that they have, the skills they're strong at, the ones they're weak at, and the ones you can help them with. You don't want to waste your time trying to build skills that they already have or that aren't relevant, right? Find out where they are. Got to learn to crawl before you walk and walk before you run, okay? So make sure you find out, is your kid crawling? Is he walking? Is he jogging? Or is he full on sprinting? And once he gets to the sprinting point, then we just simply work on form. Everything else will take care of itself. So take a back seat sometimes. You can learn a lot by simply watching your boys and not always being in the mix with your fingers, pressing buttons, trying to manipulate things. Just observe. You can learn just as much, if not more. All right, that's Doc's Daily Dose for Dads today. Make sure to give us a shout out on any social media at rebirthbx. Make sure if you do, hashtag docsdailydosefordads or hashtag 4D. Check out the website, rebirthbx.com, the YouTube channel, whatever you want. And if you got any suggestions or any questions or anything that you want to hear my take on, shoot them to me. On all of my social media, all of the websites, I've got my email and my cell phone number. Or just message me through social media. I will make sure to answer your question. That's it for today. I'll hit you guys back tomorrow.